Welcome to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast, hosted by Mhkeeba
and Brittany, two former NFL cheerleaders discussing hot topics in the pro cheerleading industry
and revealing the truth behind the Poms.
Welcome to our sober finale.
Season 2 finale with no alcohol.
Cheers.
We celebrated last episode before your birthday, so only fitting that we not partake in the liquor.
The last finale was like around the end of the year.
That's
so
true.
there was a lot of extra bottles in the house. So
Yes.
not now.
Not now. We have a lot to discuss this episode.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's go. We got some chatting to do about auditions this past weekend because there was a whole lot of stuff going on.
That was something I asked people on Instagram what they wanted to hear more about, and we heard a lot about auditions. Tell us about other teams' process.
And how they do it,
How
right?
they do it. So Mhkeeba discovered some crazy stuff.
I think so. Let's just say, it's safe to say after looking at a couple of teams that this final audition showcase is on crack. It's almost like we don't care about the first 2 rounds. Let's just pick our best finalists that will put on a great show.
Right. I
all
thought the
about the audition
webcam that
showcase.
we did was bad, but this is like kind of anxiety causing.
Yes. Well, one, they're going to be, they're open to the public. We talked about that and how cool the dynamic it might be to have your friends and family in the audience. But now the way that the shows are being structured with the audition routines and everything, it's all about that showcase.
Right.
It's like what we think of when we think of our calendar unveiling, where you're really going to put on a show and you're going to have different performances and all of that. But it's heavily driven towards this is a show.
I like it, but one team you were telling me they had practice every night.
Oh my gosh.
This last week, right? And interviews were thrown in there.
Yeah, so this week coming, like what we're in right now, practice from 6 to 10 every night, every single night this week to prepare for the showcase on a Sunday. That's so.
I kind of like it because I'm a slow learner, but I don't know if it's structured like that. I think it's a good test to see if you can handle practices during the week and your other life.
Down and turns into a bitch.
Yeah. Because I took the Friday off that we learned choreography and knew that whole weekend, all Saturday, I was just going to be dancing.
Right, but imagine okay, you have a job. What
you can't take a week off.
You're taking a week off.
Paid
from
vacation,
work,
staycation.
Paid vacation so that you can actually have a brain. So you're at work from 9 to 5, 6 to 10. You're practicing and dancing your butt off.
You got to get glam in between then.
When are you going to practice on top of that practice? Because you're going to bed and waking up and going to work the next day and same thing, repeat for 5 days.
I'd call in sick. I have diarrhea this week. I'm sorry.
I caught pneumonia.
Yeah, I have.
I've used that before.
Can't come
I'm
in.
So bad. But no, it's pretty intense. So let's talk through. Kansas City had their auditions last weekend. They've picked their team, but there aren't photos up yet of their roster.
Did they do a big showcase, right?
They did. Okay, down to the outfits and the whole 9 yards. So they had 86 semifinalists, and they went down to 56. So, girl, they had hair and makeup at the auditions, which I still cannot even. I don't even understand how that worked. They had a little vlog up, and the girl was like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to get my hair and makeup done for interviews."
That is
really?
so cool, though. I wish I had that because I don't have brows. So, I needed someone rookie year to be like, girl, you have no brows. And I know that's a hot, trendy thing right now, but not for NFL.
So what, not have brows?
Yeah, no brow look.
No brow look?
Yeah, no brow look.
Like this? No, I'm kidding. Well, that's interesting. I'm just imagining, is it game day makeup where you're kind of having people touch you up versus doing you from scratch? But
it better be touch-ups, but it's also another way for if they are makeup artists and hair for the team during the regular season, maybe the director's taking input from them and were they a diva?
Remember such and such was a little diva. She did not like the way I did her brows and pitched a fit.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But what a luxury is all I can say.
Cool.
Hair and makeup done. They got to have little outfits. So I guess they learned what they call productions. And so in a group of 10 or so, it seemed like, they had their whole routine, a separate routine. Some girls had boas. Some people were in a fatigue thing with.
So it's a variety show, really.
Full on. At first I was confused going through their gallery. I was did their show group perform? Why are these girls all dressed in the same outfit? But they had their audition numbers on, so they performed in this group. And I think they did solos. So they had solos and they had this group number.
But how cool would that be if you were okay, I kill it at hip hop, they put you in like a cute hip hop, pant, bra set, whatever, and you just go kill it and it's your style.
What if
or
it's
what
not?
if they switched you and made you do like burlesque and I'm flat footed over there like trying to make it through.
That stresses me out. Like, if you can't like pick the production that most suits you or you have any control over it, that would be a little daunting. Well, I'm such a brat. I would probably be salty if I didn't get to do one that I really wanted to do. Like, I knew I would have done that one 50 times better, and I've got this damn boa.
Right.
Like, I don't know. But they all looked excited going through the process. The outfits, hopefully they got to keep them because they were cute. And they did have one male go through the process.
The Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
He was a semifinalist. They didn't have his picture in the gallery of finalists. But yeah, he was tumbling around and looking energetic. I love listening to the judges kind of talk about what they were looking for, and it sounds like, across the board, it's always enthusiasm, charisma, poise, like really exciting to watch, and like energetic was the big word that I kept hearing over.
I know,
and over
but
again.
you only can do that so much because then you start eating air, you start looking cuckoo crazy. Like, but how do you have a lot of energy without like smiling so hard your eyes disappear and like look cute? Like my gums would be full out if they're like more energy. Like my lip would curl up, gums.
And I love the pictures that you find where you're like, was I just really happy to be here or what? Like that holiday picture.
The holiday one. That's such a painful dance because it's so long.
God, it's
but
so long.
Side
but
note.
I think it's little things. It's like, you're so good with dancing with your hair. Your hairography skills are on point. I've always thought that. But like, it's just like that little extra oomph. And there are people who are just flat as hell when it comes to dancing.
That's true.
Like,
sometimes
I think you just can't
highly technical dancers are a little like, I'm going to nail this quadruple pirouette, but there's no like emotion to it or passion. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You just look boring. Pretty, but boring.
Yeah.
And then I guess you have to try not to go the
Be a little
other
sloppy.
route. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, don't get too sloppy with it, because energetic to me does not mean just like
out of control.
Clown feet clonking around, just doing too much.com. Like, it's more like just keep it in the cut.
It's a balance.
It's like the perfect balance.
Keep your gums in check. Keep your arms in check. Your feet in check. Everything in check.
The other part that tripped me out about this, because I was also looking at their Instagram story, they had like what they called skill drills. So in their audition, basically the across the floor from audition workshops.
Sick.
They're doing like kicks and leaps and a side leap and whatever else they were doing for these skill drills. So
that's where I would lose it.
That would stress me the F out. Put it that way. Like, I would have been...
I always hated that during workshops just because, it's across the floor.
Everybody's
majority of people are watching you versus doing it with you.
You can't sneak across the floor to the other side. Yeah. So
or do you ever remember like taking a leap and then kind of like walking out of it and getting back in line? Like,
yes.
You could have done another one, but you're just like, I'm not going to push it.
10 steps and just play it off.
I'll let the overachiever do that. Anyways.
So they did a big time, huge pageant style type thing.
Some do swimsuit unveilings as well. Like,
how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's a little weird. Mm-hmm. You're already usually wearing something pretty revealing where you could see their body. I think we were talking about the Redskins do that, and that makes sense because they are so sassy and sexy. Like,
right.
They probably do bring something else to that, but...
Because I think the Patriots did it too. And the Dolphins cheerleaders, I think, also had like a swimsuit portion. But
when you have a set final outfit, I feel like bra top and booty shorts, like we were handed our booty shorts, you're going to see what you need to see, and if that person's going to be... Right, in terms of their body. I could see with teams where finals are like open attire, where maybe girls are wearing like some crazy elaborate like ice skater... midriff covered thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't really get the point of it.
I guess for, if you think about like pageants and stuff, I was thinking about this for season 3. Like, we could do a whole episode just on modeling alone. And so maybe by having a swimsuit competition, you are getting a sense of a woman's confidence and poise and how she poses and gives that model vibe. Because think about it, if a person completely fell apart for this portion of it because they're like trembling like a leaf and awkward as F, and they can't like stick their leg out and pop a hip and pose and serve it at the end of a runway, like, are they really comfortable?
Can you wear cover-ups?
Can you wear a on a kini and just...
Can you wear a muumuu?
Oh my gosh. I see your point though too. Like, is there really a point to this? But that's the one benefit I think that they would see. Like, who really has the balls to walk down a runway in some heels? Luckily, they get to wear heels and not be barefoot like how we'd have to be for our swimsuit and calendar unveiling. But, you know, if you have the confidence to just rock it.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it if I had to. But we've never experienced that. I mean, I've done bikini, shows.
You have.
And, my first show, my leg I was probably twerking on accident because I was so nervous. Like, my knee was bouncing and I'm, trying to stick my ass in the judge's face and...
Oh my gosh.
It was probably rippling all the way up.
But you would actually see the true fitness level of women.
Right.
Because when you're mobbing around in a bikini, you see what moves and what's really tight.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's a great show, especially for the ones that are open to the public. I mean, who's not going to be entertained by beautiful women walking around and you name it?
Right.
Gosh. Who was it? I think it was the Colts, in looking at their auditions. They required capri leggings. Yeah. And so they definitely had a lot of athletic gear. It wasn't Bedazzle City. It was all workout gear.
For auditions?
For the finalists, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, we're not there yet to NBA, but I do know I've looked at the Blazers audition schedule, and they let you put on baggy pants for the hip hop section if you want.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they just feel like girls are more confident with
more on.
Yeah,
think about it. If you're hip hop and you're actually twerking it up,
I hate it in shorts. Stop doing hip hop.
Their booties are gonna clap. Don't let their booties
skirt
clap.
Fine.
They need some joggers, some cute little joggers or something.
Yeah,
and that actually fits the vibe. That's why
exactly.
Even with Seagulls, it was never really that fun to do the hip hop because we had on our glamour whites and boots, and it never felt like you were in character.
Yeah,
good enough.
True.
I tried.
Then you could have been the elves like I was for the holiday show and had to wear ears and...
Oh, you have to tell them about it. It was the cutest segment. You have to say, because nobody's going to know what we mean.
Well, we're going to talk about JBLM, but we'd always do a holiday show.
Yes, at the base. That's a military base out here in Seattle. For
right.
people who don't know JBLM.
So one show, they decided to do the whole Trans-Siberian Orchestra themed... And your daughter was part of that.
Yes,
she cranked the ballerina. That was cute. But then me and Bianca got assigned the hip hop elves. And I was wearing some weird corset, Justin Bieber baggy pants,
it was
some ears.
It
was so weird, but it was
actually cute and fun.
I'm such a dork. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll do anything. Especially if it has a funny aspect, yes. I'm in. You know what I mean?
It was actually entertaining. It was entertaining.
Yeah, we did the little, what's it called? Kid and Play or whatever?
Oh, yeah, you did. What is that called? Kid and Play.
Okay, wow, I said the right
thing.
Good
job.
Thanks.
Good job. Old school throwback moment. But yeah, at least you did dress in character for that versus being in the
helps.
Yes. Yes.
We're a little off topic. Let's reel it back in. Sorry, guys.
Cheer chat. So there were some males. The Colts had 2 males in their photo gallery. One became a finalist. So
cool.
Interesting to see what happens there. It just seems again, they're just trying to cut to the finalists, but you didn't have a freestyle, any choreography that you had to bring to that first round. They taught you choreography and you basically perform it right after. How do you feel about that, Britt?
It depends on what it is. And you're probably like, okay, elaborate. But I don't like coming up with my own choreography, so I like being able to lean on someone else's.
Okay.
But that also adds the pressure of maybe that choreographer's style, again, doesn't fit or, sometimes they're all over the place. And
or you can't see.
Yeah, they teach the ripples first, and I'm like, just teach it to me in the order. I'll figure it out later, or,
Yeah. Or they don't rotate enough, and you can't see, and that just sounds super, super... Well, I mean, I know it happens. For pro dancers, it's girls, will you get over it? That's just how it goes. But learning the choreography and performing it immediately afterwards, I just think adds the element of you don't really get to let it register too much. You just got to...
You have to change your learning style.
Yeah. Or you should have been ready, I guess. I mean, hopefully you would have been at those prep classes and got a sense for who would be teaching, ideally, and just
maybe there's some repeat moves that you're like, oh, yeah, they already taught this.
And one of the things I was noticing is, a lot of them got to perform... prelims or semifinals with pom-poms.
That's nice.
We don't ever get to use pom-poms in the whole auditions process. And
till you get them, if you make it.
I guess maybe that's why we run across the stage like little wild heathens, because we finally get to touch the poms. But I do kind of like that they get to dance with poms. But
I do like, though, that it seems like more teams are adding elements that's like, this is what practice would be like.
True.
If you made the team, you're going to learn a routine, and then we're going to split you in half, and you're going to have to perform it.
True.
And, you know, I don't know about you, but I felt like even on the team 5-6 years in, you always want to perform. You're never going to, you never lose that aspect of like, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
I want to kill it for my girls. I want to like prove I can do it, or like, this is so my style. I want to kick ass.
Right.
So that's, I mean, you're
Why
auditioning
do we talk
the whole
so much
season.
shit like we weren't dancing, like, or like we weren't good at that part?
We were good. We probably were just fine. I think we got up in our head because that's not the way we really like let choreography sink in.
Yeah.
So we're just being mean to ourselves. But
I feel
we
like
could
since
do
we
it.
started this podcast, I've been like stuck in a rookie year mindset. We got used to it for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me at least, it was kind of like, okay, my brain got trained to pick up a bunch of different dances. I obviously benefit with more time, but like, I don't know why I keep acting like we just struggled the whole way through.
Yeah, and you were never dogged if you didn't pick it up. It would just be like, take it home, ladies. See you on Tuesday. You know,
but you better bring it for 2 weeks. Yeah,
yeah, because I'm gonna pick you because I saw you struggling in the back, facing the wrong way, Brittany. Oh boy.
Okay,
but this is an exciting time,
It
and
is.
we're gonna go to the Redskins final showcase, which you were like, people are probably so tired of us mentioning that,
but we're going.
we're going, and you feel like more on the radar about it, but I just only know and feel like can only handle the Seagulls. Just because it's like within my comfort zone, you know.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to watch the Seagulls webcast of auditions? And
we should. Maybe do some live posts or...
Heck yeah.
I mean,
why not?
we'll definitely be drinking, so hopefully they don't get more and more crazy as the night goes on. But
that'll be
fun. Because we have a lot of friends on there.
We get together and watch auditions, so we'll be watching.
Cool.
I wish for the ones that actually do have a live showcase that is open to the public, it'd be nice if they like posted it
later.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like on YouTube or something.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you? Whatever.
Because they're trying to sell tickets, you know?
That's true. But it looked like
that's how they can afford those awesome... Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I don't know. Well, we'll see what they post. If they post about it, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Cheer chat in the foreseeable future. So because this is our season finale, guys, we didn't hear from anybody. So guess what? We're taking a break. Because we will be traveling and different things going on. But obviously there will be a lot of auditions happening during that time. So when we do come back, we will be still talking auditions. But today's episode is called I'm Every Woman. Isn't that not the perfect title, man?
It is. We were kind of bumping around a few different ideas
to find good songs about diversity. It wasn't really like racism, so it was just, it was a struggle.
Yeah, but I like what you picked. It's awesome.
It's good, and it's Whitney, and you know, it doesn't make me sad. It's it's an empowering, fun song, and I forgot what the video was like, so of course I watched it on YouTube, and it made me smile. So
right,
I'm Every Woman is representative of this episode because, well, now we have men, so damn it, you messed up the theme. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, when you pick a squad, it really should be a reflection of the community that your team represents, ideally. And that would mean that every woman is beautiful. Any one woman from your squad could just represent for all of them. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Does that make sense?
We were told that.
Miss Marshall.
Yeah, right?
Does that make sense? Does it?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
We were told that didn't she say something along those lines? Our previous director would be like, you could pull any girl forward and they could represent the team, or what did she say?
I think she took the selection of the squad and really wanted a cohesive enough look where you could tell that person's a Seagull. I think that's how she would want it, how she would describe it. But at the same time, that standard of beauty or whatever it is that you're looking at across the board, that you have a broad enough view of the larger community and can see that how much more beautiful and representative that squad would be if you actually have diversity on the squad.
Right. Because speaking of auditions, if you don't see anybody that looks like you or that you feel like you can look up to or use as an example, are you going to show up at auditions? Probably not.
I mean, unless you're like in Miss Trailblazer mode where you're gonna I'm gonna
be the first.
Which
is hard to do. But when you don't feel like your look is representative on the team or like you have the power to audition, I don't know.
Well, it's intimidating. It makes you question if you're what they're looking for, and there's just a lot of that can swirl in your head. I mean,
and auditions are already crazy anyways, so do you need extra like feeling maybe insecure or I'm not going to make it just because of the way I look, so why even try? That's sad.
I think that impact is definitely real. But we want this episode to just hopefully touch everybody and share the importance of why diversity, and not just diversity, which is one thing, but inclusion is really how you promote the diverse people that you have on your squad, like how that's embraced, how they're treated once they are part of the team. And that's just as important as having the numbers to reflect diversity. So we're going to get into all that stuff. And we interviewed somebody, so this is like a jam-packed episode. So
it is.
It's a season finale, so.
Right, it's going to be 3 hours long. Get over it.
I mean,
anyways.
You know what I'm saying? We've been giving them some little less than an hour. You know, this one's longer. Okay.
All right, so Mhkeeba did a survey. She is like a genius. I don't even know how she did this.
I don't either. Math is not my strong suit, nor analytics.
But creating a survey, like, I thought it was so cool that people participated.
And thank you to everybody who did. Oh my goodness. Really, really cool.
It meant a lot.
It did. Because we want to get more information from you guys in general anyway, so it's nice that people took the time out to fill it out.
Right.
So thank you for that.
So go for it, Mhkeeba. Like, what was your thoughts behind this survey?
I was more annoyed that there really was nothing done out there. No research, no articles. Because we would have talked about it if they did. But knowing that there really wasn't anything out there. The squad will change every single year.
True.
They will never have the same exact makeup. And so I just wanted to see, it's 2019, almost 2020. And if we've never done a real snapshot, team by team, maybe they have their own statistics on year to year, this is the number of women that we select, and these are the number of minorities on the team. I doubt they do that, but
I don't think any team's ever, like, that's what's kind of frustrating. Proudly pronounced and announced who makes up their team.
Yeah. There are some teams that did stand out that, like, embrace diversity. It's almost like a marketing, not even ploy, it's just something that they promote in their marketing. Like, we have women from X amount of countries and speak X amount of languages, and so that are really like
celebrated
and celebrated. But because we didn't see anything out there, I just thought, hey, 2019 about to go into 2020, let's just see where we're at. This is not to like dog anybody, but just for people who are curious, like me or others that want to know, what does that look like to the best of our ability. I mean, what would have been ideal is like everybody was just like, this is my ethnicity, get it right. I know I look this, but I'm really that. But gathering this information, it really was just looking at every NFL, NBA roster. There are obviously people who are more obvious than others. And then what we did is there's, a bucket for Black, Asian, Hispanic, Latina, or other, where it just, and there's a lot of people that might be in the other column just because it's not clear, but you could tell that there might be something going on. These results may not be completely accurate, but the main thing that we really wanted to capture was just out of the total number of people on a team, what percentage is diverse.
Right. And we discovered that, I would say.
Yeah.
I was proud that for Seattle Seahawks, we were pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Because we have a very large Asian community here. And like Michelle said in her boss episode, it's kind of reflective of who's around to audition.
Not the team itself.
Not the team itself, but the area that you're in.
Exactly, because that's where your dancers are coming from. They're not getting shipped in. So, yeah, to your point, the Seahawks came in 4th place for the NFL, and 5th were the Atlanta Falcons. So that means, out of the total number of however many women on each squad, that's the percentage of people that were diverse. Who got number 3?
Oakland Raiders.
We like the Raiders.
I love the Raiders. Raiders. They are awesome. I love the Bay Area. Like, it was so fun when we went.
So we did go because my daddy is a diehard Raiders fan, and we got his season tickets to a preseason game, and that was one of our fun adventures, going on down to Oakland, wearing our Seahawks gear, going through the tailgating area, not getting our asses kicked.
Yeah, thankfully. We were so welcomed.
People honked at us and told us, did they say
Raiders?
F you? Oh, they said Raiders.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they were all pretty cool. It was preseason, though, and we weren't in the AFC, so...
Yeah.
I think that's why we survived. But we do like the Raiders, and they had a pretty diverse team. Should we give some percentages so people know?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Atlanta Falcons had 44.4% of the team was diverse. The Seahawks had...
46%.
Yes. And then the Raiders had 48.
There are 2
place?
spots. Yeah, which makes sense. Miami Dolphins have 52%, almost 53%. But that was pretty awesome because we know they kind of outreach heavily. Just in their area and welcome people internationally. Exactly, so that's super cool.
With their auditions. And when you look at their bios, it was just something that the ladies talked about. Like, it was part of the way that they claim what they were proud of or their, background. So it was definitely something that was promoted. And if you look at their website too, that's something that they really think is a strong suit for their squad. And I would say it looks that way, it appears that way. But who got number one?
Our girls, they're now my favorite, I think. The Washington Redskins have 61%. That's insane and so cool.
36 women to have 61% of diversity is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's so beautiful. I mean, I just think all those shades, just watching how they all come together, I just think it makes the team just that much better. That much better. Okay, we have to just say for the record, who was at the bottom.
Oh, do we already flip my page quietly?
I'll say it.
Okay.
It's not even to
blast
it is
them
what
like
it is.
that.
Yeah. So in last place was the Cincinnati Bengals with 10%, and we highlighted at least the teams that had less than 15%. So there were 3 of them, and that was the Bengals, the Vikings had 14%, and the New York Jets had 13%. So it's kind of interesting when you think about the markets. To Michelle's point about it might be a reflection of who shows up at auditions and who lives in the area. I've never been to Cincinnati.
Me neither. I actually don't even know where it's at.
It's in Ohio, but...
Okay, see...
But I don't know northern Ohio, southern Ohio, middle of Ohio. But we don't know what it looks like there. We don't know if historically this is just what the squad looks like and maybe people are discouraged from auditioning. We don't know if they show up and they're amazing but they don't make the team. We don't know what's going on there, but they're in last place. And the Vikings...
Step it up, come on.
What's going on in the Midwest? But the Jets, they're in New York, though.
Right,
so
that's
confused.
kind of ridiculous.
I'm confused.
But do you think maybe the powerhouse that is freaking Patriots? Sorry, the Patriots. I love to hate them, but honestly, everybody's kind of clawing at spots there.
Possibly.
So maybe they're kind of secondary because are they winning rings and stuff?
Or maybe because they have those tennis skirts. Nobody wants them. I'm kidding. I don't know what's going on.
We need to have a uniform episode, which we have yet doing.
But it's
we don't want to rip them.
No, we have to do a visual one. We have to actually be
true.
So you can see them. We can't describe all these and then link a million pictures. But we do need to do it.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
We have thoughts. And we want Sunrose for that episode.
Yes.
She's this fashion guru. Yes.
Versace.
That's the NFL.
That's NFL.
So overall, now that you've heard the top teams and the teams that aren't performing as great, there are 859 men and women on these squads in the NFL, and that ends up, and 241 appear to be minorities, so that ends up being 28% of diversity in the NFL. That's great.
That's kind of sad.
There's room for improvement.
Right. Yay. Let's audition. If you're thinking about it, as you'll hear in the interview, Takoya Harris didn't even know that auditioning for NFL was an option. So think of it as an option and go for it.
Especially if you've been eyeing NBA versus NFL. I mean, there's other pro dancing opportunities, and we, obviously focus on the 2 major leagues here. There are other teams, and maybe they have better numbers in terms of diversity for
hockey,
lacrosse, hockey, indoor soccer, etc. But it's just something that there's room for improvement. I think everybody of all shades should be represented. So show up.
Yeah, show up. So next you did the NBA.
The NBA. Lots more teams. This took a lot longer.
Right.
But less people on the
Should we do their total percentage just to kind of blast the NFL right off the bat?
Do it. Boom.
Okay, it's not even that impressive, but 38% total.
That is a lot better. So
when there's a smaller total group, because the teams are a lot smaller in the NBA, so for them to be
20-ish girls, I would say.
Yeah. So the NBA is kind of where it's at.
They have 561 total dancers, 213 appear to be minorities, and so that ends up being
38%,
10% more.
Yeah,
relatively speaking. Who's in 5th place? The Charlotte Honeybees.
Yeah, and I remember seeing them, right?
Well, they were the ones featured for All-Star. I don't know if that's where you saw them.
Maybe.
But they were at 47%. And then there was a 3-way tie for
That's
4th place.
5th place? Oh, well, then there's worse.
Yeah.
There's worse. Because I was like, wow, they're 47.
That's
like,
high.
that's not that bad, you
That's
know?
high. Yeah.
But yeah, the fourth places were the Brooklyn Nets, the Celtics, and the Clippers.
And they were
That's
50%.
surprising.
50% is fourth place.
Oh,
Like, that's amazing. I mean, that's pretty
yeah.
dang on good for that to be fourth place. In third place, we had the Wizards dancers. So DC
Nice.
is clearly representing. Second place.
You're like, Brittany, I'm helping you along.
No.
Again, Miami.
Yeah.
Miami Heat dancers are killing it.
76%.
I'm surprised at the number one spot, honestly.
Me too. They had a really... Okay, so let's just talk about this. Because the Houston Rockets got number one. From their
81%.
website, they had 11 people, though.
That's it?
That's it. So I don't know what's going on with that. That just seems weird to me based on all the other teams and like how they even
function. I'm out
With
here trying to
11 people.
function.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, but
Yeah,
that's like the smallest team too, so.
But look at how many teams are performing at such high percentages of minorities. I thought that was pretty impressive in general. I would say the NBA as a whole seemed to be doing pretty decent in comparison to NFL. Last place were the
Suns, the Phoenix Suns, which this is mean because like obviously I've spent all of my pro dancing time in the NFL, but like I don't even know half these teams in the NBA.
Oh, you don't?
Phoenix Suns.
Back in the day, you don't remember? That's what, oh, okay.
I'm like, nah.
Well, well,
I love basketball.
You do love basketball?
I think.
Okay. Well, it's not like they were really like that great for a while, so maybe that's why.
Oh, I thought that said the Indiana Pacemakers.
Pacemates. But in terms of the teams that were at 15% and below, you had the Denver Nuggets dancers at 11%, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder girls were at 15%. But Phoenix Suns had 5.6%. Like, that's low.
That is really low. But who's there? Nobody.
In Phoenix?
A bunch of retired people.
That's true.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Phoenix Suns? Come on.
I don't know.
It says a lot.
I think a lot will speak to a little bit about the market.
Right.
And then there are others where it's just like, really, guys? Really? No, I'm just kidding. There's room for improvement. If you're a director listening, I doubt it. But I think this should be some information that would be worthy of just contemplating.
Right. And now we're going to have to add another column and put in men or like co-ed.
Yeah. So, you know, when we tracked Baltimore, I believe their numbers are reflective of just their dancers, not their stunt team.
Okay.
Because they have like, I don't even
because
know how
they're
many
different
men. It's just
form
different.
than what people know for the NFL dancing. It's just different.
Did you see that people were really pissed off, I guess, that
what?
With the Rams going to the Super Bowl and the way that the media kept picking up on, like, they made history, it's the first time ever. But technically, you know, the Ravens were there with their guys, and
they're different people. How many times do we have to say
I
this?
know.
It's not the same.
It's not
Someone
the same.
blasted us on our Instagram at the very beginning when we had like 2 followers. Again, not like followers matter, but this lady was heated.
Yeah.
She's like, they've done it way back. It's like, yeah, but they're not. They're stunters. They're in a different thing.
Different. Until they're locking up and doing a kick line with you. But anyway. I mean,
it's still awesome what the Ravens do.
I mean, and you see
it's just
it
a different
in NBA.
style.
Like they have, you could tell even in the way that Michelle talked about the Portland stunt team that they definitely wanted to distinguish themselves from what the dancers were doing. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. We should just have maybe we should have season 3. Okay, because we did meet. Is it Allie from the Ravens?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe, you know, it's worthy of some discussion to get their perspective.
Right.
I know we are all over the place. But, you know, like, do you want to be considered a cheerleader? Like, you're part of the team in the sense...
Or are you proud and sticking to that you're stunt cheerleaders?
Which one is it? Let us know. Talk to us. But those are the results of the survey. Again, thank you, everybody, for participating. That was Cheer Chat.
Oh, wow.
No, it really wasn't Cheer Chat.
Cheer Chat year.
Cheer Chat year. The whole episode's Cheer Chat. So that was the results of the survey. But now we wanted to pivot a little bit to go in depth, right? To talk about what diversity and inclusion means when you're part of a team.
Yeah.
Let's go a little deeper. Did we need liquor for this episode? No, we didn't. We're fine. Okay. So for people who don't know, like, how would you define diversity? How would you define inclusion? Why are we talking about both of them? Diversity speaks to, like, inherent characteristics that you're born with, like your race, your sexual orientation, you know, blah, blah, blah. For purposes of dance, we're going to talk about, obviously, ethnicity, right? So if you're going to have...
diversity in age.
True.
I mean...
True, that is another characteristic. And some teams have been open about attracting...
grandmas.
Yeah, pretty much. I quit before I became one. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, age is also another characteristic that you can have diversity. And I think that's important for all of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they can do the job, obviously you shouldn't...
Because again, that would hinder you or excite you to audition depending on how old you are.
Yeah, if you feel like some of the people, everybody's like a teen
19,
bopper, then you're not going to really be inspired to participate.
Right.
So in order to have diversity, obviously, yes, this is going to include representation on your team. So having a team where you can look and see it, that your numbers reflect diversity. Mm-hmm. You can't stop there, right? In terms of just, okay, we have our black cheerleader, we have our Asian cheerleader, and
our redhead, we're
good.
We're
all we need is one, and we're done. No, it's really just thinking probably a lot broader. Does your squad look like the community that you represent?
Yeah.
And if not, what's wrong with mixing that up to the best you can? And how do you do that? You do some recruiting. What's wrong with... I mean, I know that it's like this is NFL or this is NBA, this is pro, so you don't really feel like you have to go through that, but some outreach would go a long way, I think.
To let people know it's an option or that you're wanted.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that, you know, from the public school population in any major city where there is an NFL team or NBA team that, you know, they don't have dance teams, they don't have cheerleading squads, and that you can't, if you're going to have like 19-year-olds that can join your squad, that you can't make some sort of pitch or make up a flyer to go drop off at some guidance counselors' offices of like, your audition's coming up.
Yeah.
Why can't you? Or colleges that might have dance teams. I mean, maybe that's the channels that people regularly hear about it, but I just think that you could probably make a little bit of effort to go to those types of things and recruit dancers.
Right. People feel like they have access to even audition, that somebody's opening the door for them to show up.
To say that we welcome you, that we want you to, please come to our workshop classes so that you can learn more about the style. And we were talking about it offline, but I know you'd ask. This isn't an argument that people who would struggle or maybe don't have the skill set that they should be allowed on a team because they're a person of color, and that's absolutely not true at all. I mean, this is at the professional level, so everybody needs to be able to hold their own and learning choreography, performing it. You always have to look at it as a group, right? So it's not...
But you use the, example of when you show up for a job interview, you're given that's what that interview is for, is an opportunity to be like, I can do this, and this is why, because of my experience. And if people don't even get that first step,
right,
then what's the point?
Right.
Then just pick your team off the street, Exactly. Because that's what auditions are for. It's an interview for the certain task you're going to be doing.
For sure. And people should have the opportunity to...
prove themselves.
Exactly. Unless your auditions are held so janky and unfair, where people are just based on looks alone, aren't given an opportunity to see, like, okay, with the makeover, how would they look vis-a-vis the rest of the girls, or because maybe they have natural hair or something that would somehow disqualify them in your mind of what an ex-cheerleader is supposed to look like. I mean, I think for the most part, in terms of dance is universal enough where you can really get a good sense of whether the person can do the job or not, I would say, based on their performance with auditions. Unless their style is just so different.
Yeah.
That you really can't see the transformation of like, yes, that style, even though it's different, can blend into, or I can see them picking up our style with some time. But, it's a professional job, so you should be able to do the job.
Right.
So that ain't what we're saying at all.
Yeah.
But to your point earlier too, it's like you want to see that a team has enough variety where you feel like you could belong.
Mm-hmm. And then when they make the team,
inclusion.
Right.
What does that mean? That's where teams I think might struggle more, or there are teams that do it better than others. Like if you have a team that sees diversity as a strong suit, something that they should like scream from the mountaintops, like you think Redskins, you think Miami Dolphins, or other teams that like Brooklyn Nets, I felt like their site also with their bios were very, just pumping up the diversity on their team, or just even in the ladies' bios. I think you're showing that there's this inclusive attitude, like this is not something that we're shying away from talking about. We're actually celebrating it and promoting it and saying like, yes, we want people who have their own unique look and are proud of their ethnicity.
Right. Well, when you think about like Jenny that we interviewed, like she loves the Miami Heat and she grew up dancing for them, and you want people to be ambassadors beyond their time on the team.
That's so true.
And they're not going to do that if they felt like it was hell being on the team because they weren't celebrated. Yeah, that they were overlooked,
And more often than not, that's probably, it's not that you might get selected for the team, but you may not get put on any calendar cover, or you may not get picked for certain opportunities or certain promos because you don't have a look. You may not get picked for show group because for no good reason. For no good reason at all. And it's really just opportunities like that once you're on a team that you kind of see that there are different standards or double standards, or that there really is a look that they are trying to go for, that they really do want to promote as like the look of the squad, and it ends up not looking like, it's not even that it needs to be replaced, it's just like, can you celebrate like 4 different looking types of girls in promoting the squad, as opposed to just picking one that alienates everybody else.
Right. Because, like, what year is it? Like, let's be real. Like, there's nothing wrong with being platinum blonde. I am definitely drawn to that look. I think it's beautiful, but that shouldn't be the standard, and it shouldn't be the one and only ideal trophy cheerleader
type.
Like, come on.
Diversify your portfolio. Right. Like, you can promote that blonde along with a beautiful brunette, along with beautiful Latina, and a Hawaiian chick. Like, mix it up. I just think it should almost always be clusters of girls versus just one girl. I think there are teams who kind of pick one girl as like the look, and the face everywhere, the face of such and such, and it's like, do we really have to do it that way? Could it be, this is the kind of variety that you can expect when it comes to my squad, kind of a thing. Like, that would be the smarter way. You'll reach a broader audience if you have a broader group of people, and the way that you do outreach, the way you promote them, the way you talk about them, the opportunities that are presented, that's really where you're getting around inclusion. Because, I mean, if you think about, like, the different cultural themed months, like Black History Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month, or Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, for women that are part of your team, men that are part of your team that identify as such, doing something that celebrates that, whether they, like, do, like, an Instagram takeover and, like, talk about what they do to celebrate that, or just you're speaking to your larger community of fans, and I think it would resonate.
I agree. And you could change, or try or push along society's norms, and like, wow, I've never seen a girl that looked like that before. Like, why not push people's, there's always going to be somebody that has something negative to say, but F them.
It's beauty. I just think, there's a level of curiosity. I mean, especially doing this survey and trying to like figure out like, what is she, what could she be? And it's not to like put labels on anybody, but when you really do find out, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you hear about, the mixed race people, that if you hear like, I'm part Filipino and
it's French or something.
Or, I just think it's really exciting to hear about people's ethnicity. I get excited by it. Like, I was looking at NBA dancers, and I think it was kind of like a fact. Like, most people would be surprised to know about me that I'm Vietnamese. And, you see your picture and you wouldn't necessarily know. And so it's cool things like that. I think there's a way to promote it and welcome
celebrating other cultures. I mean, come on.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Right.
This day and age, there's probably
I just think it's a hard topic. Like, I'm a white woman, and so it's just hard for us to talk about, I think.
Well, you asked off air. There's no off air.
Right.
Can I just
flip the switch? We're on air, off air.
But you mentioned just like what it means to be an ally, and I think you had like a great question about that, because there's times where you don't necessarily know that you are in a position of privilege, and there are times where just calling out something or asking a question that people can't because they're not in the room can ask. So you mentioned when you were on show group and asking about maybe an African American girl on our team being able to do a show.
Because I was going to bring that up. Our show group was basically all white when I was touring, and we're going overseas into all these bases, and to be honest, I was kind of embarrassed, and we had talked about it, that there wasn't a diverse group to show how colorful our team is back home.
Right.
And so I think towards the end of the season there was an opportunity for us to do a performance, and some girls couldn't do it on show group. And so I mentioned having one of my teammates who was black to fill in, and I'd teach her, and it kind of was shot down, but I was really trying to push for that because she's an amazing dancer. I mean, she deserved that opportunity. I always thought
she would have been so dope.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about Mariah. I mean, she was a kick-ass dancer, always on point, always getting called out for like knowing her stuff and killing it. And she was actually a military wife. I thought it would have been awesome to have her be a part of show group, but
she does have a young child, so I know like touring was challenging for her, but that's why I was like, but why not? We're not going anywhere.
I feel like she always put her hat in the ring, though, in terms of expressing interest. But
she did.
Gosh,
a lot of people did on the team, but that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody could have been on show group. my flopping around ass definitely didn't deserve it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, but I never felt like I deserved it. And I felt like anybody on our team could have been on it. And it should have been a way for us to represent our team and our community, and that was lacking.
Yeah.
It was really upsetting.
And it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, I know from seeing when I was auditioning one black cheerleader year after year after year, there were 2 of us, and then for a couple years, and then one year it was 5. And I just really felt something within me to kind of pull at least one of them aside. I know it's Dejana that I'm thinking of, but really just saying, like, it's so important to, like, just be as present as possible, like milk the shit out of this opportunity, because when we're out in the community doing promo appearances and little girls get to see you, they're not going to be at the games. They're not going to be searching around online and like for opportunities and just like, oh, I can be a, Seahawks cheerleader. I see their face on the rock. That's just not how it connects all the time. So just taking advantage of those opportunities to be an example and to show that you are just as present as anybody else means a lot. And this is, it's not really locker talk at all, but
I was going to say, weren't we going to say this? But you need to tell us fits perfectly.
But so every year, this JBLM story, where we do the performance
on the base
around the holidays. And I love working with kids. Every opportunity I can, I'm down for it. And so you teach the kids the routine in the morning, bright and early. These kids were lined up. And they come back and they perform like in between the show group's performance. So I had my little group. I always pick the youngest ones because they're hilarious. And so one of these little girls, a little black girl, called me out. She was just like, "So are you a real cheerleader? Are you a real cheerleader?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Am I a real cheerleader?" Because I'm teaching them in like our little sports promo attire. But she saw the show group, and she's like, "No, how come you don't have a uniform like that?" And I was like, "I do. It's in my bag." And she was like, "Well, how come you're not out there dancing with them then?" So I'm getting grilled by this little girl. And I was but she clearly had a perception that, no, they're the real thing and you're bootleg. I guess that's what she was kind of at least associating with it. But it just let me know. It's funny,
but now that makes me want to cry that.
Oh, no, I just think in that moment it was really like, wow.
But she saw a group of people that had this quote like privilege, and she's maybe thinking less of herself. Maybe she came at it with some attitude and it was cute and sassy, but like maybe deep down it hurt her. Like, why is a girl that looks like me not doing what they're doing?
It raises the question because from her eyes, she's just like, well, that doesn't add up. And like, why are you, and I just think that's why it's important.
Yeah.
That's why I knew how powerful it could have been if a Mariah, or it didn't have to be me, but somebody, or just any other ethnicity were represented as part of show group, it would have actually been impactful, especially like you said, when you're traveling the world. Our troops don't look one way, there's all different ethnicities represented.
And there's plenty of kids at a few shows, like some of them were adults only just because, not of our show, but just because of the base.
Right.
I don't really know, I don't understand all that stuff, but JBLM definitely welcomed kids, and these kids are coming from all over the country. They're just sent there and they're following their families who are in the military. And we're trying to give back, but now that girl's not going to think, oh, well, wherever I'm from, I'm going to go back home and audition for the nearest NFL team.
Maybe not. You know, I tried to give her what I could. Like, no, there's 30 of us or 32 of us, and it's not just me. There's a few others, but it really made me realize the perception that people can have if all they see is white. And so I, tried to encourage the girls to do as many promos as they could, because it's really when they have those opportunities to meet you out in public that they can actually think, oh, I can do this, or I might want to do this, or you're the real thing and you're not bootleg. You know, that you're not some second-class citizen.
Hey, real cheerleader.
It's the same thing when you look at calendars. It's the same thing when you look, if you see who's put on the cover or who's promoted as like the most beautiful looking one. And it's, I know I always struggled selling the calendars in the early years, because it's like the people that
always question, even me, like, are you actually in this? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like flipping through my page, licking my finger. Yeah, one second. I'm in the back, but I'm in here.
But if you can imagine, if you're trying to, sell this calendar to people from different ethnicities, and you're kind of going through, and it's just like page after page after page after page, and the team's just not looking very diverse. You're just I had to buy a lot of calendars. Let's just put it that way early on. But for the teams that are aware of this and are willing to kind of like just talk about it, it's not a taboo topic. And if you're conducting your auditions, really, not to say that you're sacrificing talent or quality, but really just looking at people that you may have overlooked because they don't. I think people have natural gravitation toward people who look like them. But think about how much greater your squad can be if it is a variety versus just monotone-ish.
Yeah, they can be better ambassadors and
reach more people.
Exactly. You want that for your team and your company.
You would think. I mean, and this is not, the pro cheerleading industry is not any different from any other major corporation struggling with this issue. I mean, diversity and inclusion are the hot topics in every major corporation because they realize that that's also a key to getting business. Like, don't pitch work to me if you're going to just bring the same old, white men around. Like, where are the people that look like me? Can you put together a team of people that at least looks a little bit more diverse, and then we can talk? I mean, people are getting smarter about it, but I think all the teams, NBA, NFL, every major sports team should look at it. Just look at it. Don't be afraid of the truth.
The more aspects of society that embraces this diverse and inclusion kind of type of idea, the better off we'll be. I mean,
we will.
It's just facts,
We dropped them, didn't we? We dropped the survey facts. We dropped just this
hopefully kept up with our math. I don't know.
If you'd like to see it, we can also post it. I mean, I honestly think a write-up might be justified for at least the data and how we came up with it. And just, but we'll look, we're getting a new turnover of squads after this audition season's over with. We'll see if teams are still performing at that same level, if they took a nosedive, if they really kicked it up a notch. Excited to see the changes.
Yeah.
Until then, we have an interview that we'd like to share with you with Takoya Harris.
She was awesome. She was a Pro Bowl cheerleader and then went on to kind of like coach for the Redskins.
Right.
And then started Black Girls Cheer, which is like an Instagram that's super cool.
Yes.
And she highlights black cheerleaders.
Exactly. Cheerleaders in the NFL, NBA, all the major sports, and semi-pro. She said she's starting to promote too. So we're going to jump right into that interview with Takoya.
So we just looked at the time, and we've been talking for about an hour. So sorry, cheer chat, the longest cheer chat in history.
Well, there's too much going on.
There is.
Hey, it's the season finale. We're going to do a dramatic part 1 and part 2.
Yes.
So you have to listen to both because you don't know what the interview with Takoya is going to be about. But we had to talk about what's going on with auditions. We're going to be gone for a few weeks.
When's our launch date? When are we back live?
Hold please.
We're professional. We are going to come back in April. It's going to be the 24th.
Yes.
Good lucky number.
Yes.
April 24th. So we're not going away permanently, but we're just going to take a nice long break to provide better content for you guys, get some interviews.
Please follow us on our social media because we will be posting the hell out of our DC experience. So
yes. You don't want to miss that.
No, you do not. You absolutely do not. It'll be better than Orlando, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and buy us an Uber or two and go to our Patreon. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast. Please subscribe, leave a comment, or review.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Pro Cheerleading Podcast, and also on Twitter at Pro Cheer Podcast.
This is Brittany.
And Mhkeeba. Until next time.
Keep your eyes on the sidelines.